adding that flat 7 took a long time with these little fingers to learn how to do that and still
That's
keep
quite a stretch.
I always get people that go, well, can't I use my middle finger? And I'm like, well, you can, but if your hands are bigger than my hands, you could learn to do it with your third finger. And I'm 99.9% sure your hands are bigger than my hands.
That's hilarious. All righty then, guys. Hey, thanks for being here for another live blues guitar workshop session. We really appreciate you showing up and being with Steve and I. My name's Dan Denley. I'm the founder of guitar-Zoom.com, and this is my good friend, Steve Stine. How are you, sir?
I am good. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing great, man. Always a pleasure to be with you. Guys, it's a awesome privilege for you guys to be here hanging out with us today. We're going to hopefully do something that's going to be fun for you and maybe a little informative. And today is going to be on blues shuffle rhythm, which is like absolutely critical to understand if you're going to play anything blues. And if you want to learn the blues shuffle rhythm, keep watching, keep listening wherever you're doing that. If you want to learn it even faster, go to guitar-Zoom.com and check out Steve's new blues guitar course. It's called Blues Guitar by Steve Stine, and it's available now at guitar-Zoom.com. All right. So, guys, by the way, please tell us where you're from in the old chat box, in the comment box, wherever you happen to be watching this. This thing goes live across lots of different places. So, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, maybe. I don't even know. It goes in a lot of different places. So, wherever you're watching this, just let us know where you're from. That'd be super cool. Also, if you're interested in making sure you don't miss any upcoming workshop series that we do for you, this happens to be the blues guitar one. We've done them on blues licks. We've done them on acoustic guitar. We've done them on soloing, creative soloing. We try to do a lot of these for you. If you want to make sure you don't miss those, then subscribe to the channel wherever you are and click the notification button. And that way you'll get a little notice. Also, if you've missed any of the previous sessions, you'd like to see them, we're going to save all of these live recordings for you in a nice, tidy playlist that'll be available for you on the Guitar Zoom channel. So, yeah, there you go. So let's get started. What do you think?
Sure. So
right,
basically what we were doing was in an earlier session, we were talking about the 12-bar blues and what the 12-bar blues is and how we can use power chords or bar chords, seventh chords, things like that to make our 12-bar blues. Well, there's another way of playing blues that's actually quite fun and very useful, and that's doing what we're referring to as a shuffle. I don't know that it's the perfect name for it, but that's really what people often refer to it as. So what we're doing here is we're going to take the, I'm still going to be in the key of A. I'll just be in the same key I've been in for quite some time here on these. So I'm using the A and the D and the E, which is the 1, 4, 5, and I'm going to play them as a power chord. So instead of playing them as a full bar chord, the reason I want to play them as a power chord is because I need my fingers free to do other things. So I'm just going to play the 5th fret and the 7th fret, the top 2 strings, as a power chord. And what that does is it enables my pinky now to be free to do this little shuffle thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pinky and I'm going to place it 2 frets higher on the same string that my 3rd finger is on. No matter what chord I go to, I'm always going to add my pinky 2 frets higher on the same string that my 3rd or my ring finger is on. So right now my 3rd finger is on the 7th fret, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach up to the 9th fret and I'm going to press down on the 5th string on the 9th fret there. So if I was playing a shuffle style rhythm or a swing rhythm, what I want to do is I want to take that pinky now and I want to add it on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now there's lots of different ways, and again there's no one little box that everything fits in. There's a million ways that you could do this. But to start, it's nice to be able to get used to going 1 and 2. So on beat number 2 I'm pressing down and then I'm going to take my finger off again, and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now you could press down and go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And notice how now it's even. I'm playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? So I'm holding it down for 2 this time. Where the first time I was doing it this way. And either way is fine. Either way is valid. You could mix and match them. You see? Now, do I have to play the swing rhythm? No, I could play the straight. When you play it straight like that, it almost sounds a little bit better just to tap down on the 1 beat. Instead of doing 2. That sounds weird to me. But anyway, so that's what we're doing, is we're adding on this note. Now, the note that we're adding on is technically called a 6th, or a major 6th is what we're adding into this this little riff here. Now, it doesn't matter if you know what it's called or not, but that's what it is. So what's kind of fun here is, if you can add in a note above that, okay, which is what we refer to as the 7th, or the minor 7th. And all it really is I've got to go yet another fret higher than where my pinky is now. So remember, the rule is that wherever my 3rd finger is, I'm going 2 frets higher with my pinky on that same string. Okay? And the reason I'm saying that is, if I went to the 4 chord, I'd move everybody down a string, which means now my 3rd finger is on the 4th string. Well, I'm going to tap on the 4th string then. You see? So as it moves around, the pinky obviously moves with it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add on a note that's 1 fret yet higher. Now the rhythm I'm giving it is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm just tapping down or pushing down for 1 beat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Notice how I'm going back and forth. And again, there's a million ways you can do this stuff. You see, I mean, that's the fun of it, is you can make a bunch of different variations of that. And notice how sometimes I'm strumming all of them, and sometimes I'm making variation there, so it just sounds a little more interesting. Now, if I went to the 4 chord, I would just move everybody down. Now, am I obligated to use that pinky 1 fret further out every time? No. I mean, you don't have to do it on every chord every time. Similar to when we were talking about soloing in one of the previous sessions, just because it's available doesn't mean you have to use it all the time. It's actually kind of nice sometimes to avoid using it, and that way when you do, it sounds a little more colorful. So I might, because I spend, if you think about the 12-bar blues structure, I spend so much more time on the 1 chord, it's easier to use it over the 1 chord. Where the 4 chord is, is kind of brief. The 5 chord most certainly is a little more brief. So I might not want to use it every single time on those. But again, that's what music's all about, is figuring out what works for you.
That's right. That's awesome, Steve. Guys, you're talking about the blues shuffle. And yeah, I don't even want to open up the discussion about the whole shuffle rhythm thing. This thing that Steve's showing you here is called blues shuffle. And
I've heard people call it a blues 6th,
Okay.
The 6th groove, I've heard it called that. I mean, there's lots of different things. And again, if you've heard it called something else, just leave it in the comments. I mean, there's lots of different things. The point is again, when you're doing this kind of rhythm, you're not really able to do full bar chords anymore. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't add it in. Of course you can. But it just tends to be a different kind of groove when you hear, again, I always go back to The Jack by AC/DC because that was one of the first songs that I learned how to play that had this kind of rhythm in it. This kind of thing. And I always just loved the sound of that. But, Angus isn't, or Malcolm isn't trying to go, they're just going with the groove, right? Just sometimes less is great, So it kind of depends on the approach that you're taking. Some songs have a lot of strumming and, and it's that kind of thing. And some songs are a little more mellow, and some songs have this shuffle. And, you add a little palm muting in there and it sounds pretty cool. There's lots of different ways you can approach playing this stuff.
I love it, man. Guys, they're talking about the basic blues shuffle here and something you absolutely need to know to play blues. If you're joining us a little late, don't worry. We'll save this video for you in a nice playlist on the YouTube channel, on the Guitar Zoom channel, and a playlist called Blues Guitar Workshop. Already a whole bunch of videos there for you. If you'd like to check those out on the channel. If you'd like to go deep into this blues guitar stuff and learn it A to Z, Steve has created a fantastic guide to all things blues guitar. It's called Blues Guitar by Steve Stine. It's a new course, and it's available at guitar-zoom.com for you. And I think you'll like it. So you might want to check that out. Where else do you want to take this conversation, my friend?
Well, just, I'm just going to show you a couple other things that you can add in. Although, again, just because they're available to you, like I said before, doesn't mean you want to use all these things. But, I think of like House is Rockin' by Steve Ray Vaughan, and how, there are ways of using your pinky again for other things. I might come up here to the 8th fret of the 6th string, and then the 9th fret, and I get this. So there's that kind of thing that you can add in as well. That sounds kind of cool. They're just different options for things. So you think, you get those kind of sounds. So there's just different unique things that you can do. And needless to say, there's just so many different variations of things that you can do with rhythms and scales, and it just goes on forever, right? But they're kind of fun. So if you're not really, if you've been playing bar chords or, whatever it is for your blues stuff for quite a while and you've never really done this sort of thing before, it's kind of a nice change for playing blues.
Absolutely. All those bar chord 12-bar blues that he was just mentioning there are in the blues guitar course. The minor blues, which is super, super cool. We've already done a session on that. I want to go back and watch that.
Yeah, I love the sound of the minor.
Me too. And, we really haven't we've done a session on, of course, the dominant sevenths, 12-bar blues. We've just did the one on the shuffle. We've done the minor one, but we really didn't go into the one that has like maybe minor ninths or those. Sometimes you can throw in like dominant, like altered dominants at the very end, like that Jimi Hendrix chord, and there's all kinds of, look, this stuff goes on forever. And then when you get into the whole discussion of like blues and rock and how they kind of go together and the two sides of the same coin in a lot of ways, learning the blues, guys, will serve you well as a guitar player. I mean, it just will in so many ways, because it's just so influential in everything rock and roll and after that. So if you would like to check out our new sessions that we're going to be doing on the blues guitar. I'm picking my beard hairs out of this microphone here. That kind of freaked me out. I was like, what the? If you'd like to be notified, guys, of the next blues guitar session that we do for you, Blues Workshop Series, just subscribe and hit the notification button. If you'd like to check out Steve's new course, it's called Blues Guitar. It's available for you at guitar-zoom.com. And I think that you will like it very much. If you're serious about blues guitar, you definitely want to check that out. Thanks for being with us today, guys. We really appreciate you. Steve, thank you for your time and all your talents that you share with us. It's always awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you again, like Dan said, thanks for taking time out and hanging out with us. And hopefully you learned a little something, and keep practicing, stay positive.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Thanks, Steve.